Hello, everyone, and welcome to the S.H.I.E.L.D. Fan Podcast, brought to you by Tiger Prince Entertainment, TPEnetwork.com. I'm your host, Hank Davis, and joining me on the line, he's my fellow TV watching friend. He's Alex Cruz. How the heck are you, buddy?
Excelsior!
Oh, it's Stan Lee. I must have picked up
My
line 2 instead of line 1.
my best Stan Lee impersonation. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome, Alex. So, let's be honest. A lot of people that are going to tune into this are going to be people that have listened to us talk about V and talk about Revolution and talk about Falling Skies, maybe even as far back as Terminator, the old days. But for those that don't know us, I am a former professional boxer. Now I'm an author and podcaster. Ooh, imagine that. And entrepreneur. And Alex is a superhero.
And he's just raking in the money, folks. Let me tell you.
Yeah. That lucrative podcast empire. And Alex is a superhero. He's an actual living superhero by day and by night. So
I'm Batman. Don't tell anybody.
just don't swear at people like Christian Bale did.
I am done with you professionally.
You're dead to me. You're dead to me. So awesome. So this is only the first episode that we're putting out, and it's going to be more of a, backstory kind of conversation and a little bit of talk about the cast and stuff like that. So we want to put out several episodes before the show even hits the airwaves.
So we're gonna kind of give like background information, and so if you are a fan of the recent Marvel universe in the movies, the Synaptic Marvel universe, then you are going to love this TV show. Hopefully,
Fingers crossed.
that's right. I used to do a podcast for TPE ages ago on comic books. I'm a lifelong comic book reader, so I have all kinds of background information with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So,
Yeah, and Alex will more than likely, he'll be able to, during the podcast, going forward when the show actually starts, he'll be able to come at it from that perspective of, I read these, I know these, and I'm going to come at it from that perspective of, I love television.
and I think what's going to happen though with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is this. By the looks of it, they're going to completely go away from the comic books themselves, and they're going to kind of tie in. From now and then, I'm hopefully we'll be seeing some people from the recent movies. I know a big if is going to be Samuel Jackson himself, who plays Nick Fury.
They were killing my Marines.
And one kind of cool thing about that, let me give everybody a backstory before we continue.
Yeah.
Shield actually started as far back as 1965.
Whoa.
Okay, 1965, boys and girls.
Neither of us was even born yet.
Exactly. So for you older listeners, I apologize for that. And in an issue of Strange Tales, number 135. Now, prior to that, Nick Fury was around. In fact, he made his actual first appearance May of 1963 in Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos. I think they wanted to compete with DC Comics Sergeant Rock, which was a World War II era soldier. I don't want to call him a superhero, but he was a comic book character, and war comics were pretty popular, especially in the 40s and 50s and 60s. I know they kind of waned a little bit in the 70s. But one thing happened in the early 60s that no one could even expect, and that is James Bond, 007 himself. And not only did it translate well to various media like books and movies, but they began to translate to television. Now, the one of the most popular TV shows back during this time was called Man from Uncle, and Uncle is a was an acronym. So all of a sudden, people wanted to use these acronyms, and Marvel Comics jumped in on this bandwagon. Like I stated in 1965, which they totally redid Nick Fury and made him the head of an organization known as S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, S.H.I.E.L.D. throughout the many years stood was an acronym for many different things.
Yeah.
And in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it stands for Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement and Logistics Division.
Sounds like somebody wanted to spell shield very badly.
Yeah, I can go on and on. I mean, there's other acronyms for various offshoots of Shield, but from day one, Nick Fury was uh, the top eight or not top agent. He was the head of Shield, and they went on many different spy missions, super spy missions, and probably the most famous one from the late '60s was from artist and writer Jim Steranko, which kind of made it one of the most popular comics in its time. And if you are interested in viewing this back history of S.H.I.E.L.D. from the 1960s, go ahead and use our Amazon link, and you can get all of those trade paperbacks from that. And I highly encourage it, and it's a great read for all you comic book fanboys and fangirls. Now, in the 70s, S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of died off a little bit, but it doesn't mean that they didn't have a presence. You still saw them in issues of the Hulk where they tried to capture the Hulk
Yep.
for many, many years. And they were also in other licensed comics, such as Godzilla. I think Godzilla went for, I want to say around 24 issues or so. And S.H.I.E.L.D. was in just about every single issue trying to bring down bring down Godzilla, but of course nobody can bring down Godzilla. And so not only that, but they also had a presence in Shogun Warriors as well. I don't know if you remember that from the 70s. I'm probably dating myself because I used to play with those when I was a kid.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, so now we go into the 80s, and they have more and more of a presence. And let's see, they had a 6-issue miniseries in late 1988, and then they have Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., which lasted for 47 issues, which is a pretty good run.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that don't seem that long, but you're saying that's a pretty decent run.
That's a pretty decent run, and then many different one shots and whatnot. But they really, I don't think I think they do better as kind of like a background type thing. But what Shield itself is a very secretive organization, very high tech. And one thing that I noticed that when we first are introduced to Agent Phil Coulson in the Iron Man movie, they kind of remind you of either CIA or FBI, and I think that's what they're trying to do, even though they have all this high tech. And we see S.H.I.E.L.D. are kind of behind the scenes in the various Marvel movies, Thor, Incredible Hulk. Also, the Marvel Studios has created what they call Marvel one-shots. And if you have the Blu-ray or DVD versions of Thor, Captain America, and the Avengers, there are 3 different one-shots in which S.H.I.E.L.D. is pretty predominant. Now, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's been in the making for the last couple years now. And so it finally got the green light. They made the pilot, And one thing I notice, all characters are all new.
Oh, okay. So they're
And
not gonna.
except for Phil Coulson himself, which Phil really wasn't in the comics at all.
Okay, so he was kind of new to begin with.
He was new to begin with, but of course Marvel has since put him in the comics. Um, Let me also go back to why did they get Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury?
Yeah.
Well, that's a funny story because right around 2000, so we're talking about 13 years ago, um, Marvel made a new universe called the Ultimate Universe, and their version of the Avengers were called the Ultimates. And with the Ultimates, issues 1 through 12, written by Mark Millar and drawn by Brian Hitch, was extremely popular, simply because it was more realistic than the actual what they call the Marvel 616 universe, which is the comic book universe. Why they call it 616, I don't know.
This sounds like
I
an area code.
That's actually it's the Grand Rapids area code, so they
Grand
must like
Rapids,
Grand Rapids.
Grand Rapids, Michigan. Awesome.
All right. But anyway, the artist and writer kind of jokingly put in Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. I mean, if you look at Nick Fury, it's like, oh, that's Samuel L. Jackson through and through. And then what a cool thing to actually get him to portray Nick Fury in Iron Man, and he was in Iron Man 2. Hopefully, a lot of you, if you saw these movies at the movie theater, you stay till the end of the credits, and that's when we actually saw Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury.
Now, let me ask you this. Let me jump in for just a second and ask you this. Did you notice any type of backlash when Nick Fury went from Caucasian to African American?
It worked really well in the Ultimate Universe because they changed things up and it was generally accepted.
Okay. I was just
Now,
curious.
now, it's funny because they kind of introduced this Nick Fury in the main, what we call the 616, again, the Grand Rapids area code, Marvel Universe. They introduced him as Nick Fury's son, Nick Jr., I guess they could call him. Oh, that sounds like a bad TV channel or something. But anyway, yeah, they like I said, they introduced Phil Coulson as well, and I haven't heard anything of a backlash. I think if you hear of a backlash, it's from those old time, those original Marvel fans. But I haven't heard of anything yet. I think Phil Jackson, wrong sport. Samuel L. Jackson, he's done really well in that part.
Yeah, I think he's done a great job. I was just curious because, a lot of people, when you deal with comic books, they want it to look like it did when they were a kid.
Well, you see, that
Batman
was like
suit
the Batman movies. The stories were great, but I hated the costume. The Man of Steel that just came out, it was generally okay until the end, but I won't get into that. But I don't know. I just don't like the underwearless costume. I prefer my underoos, I guess.
I guess so.
But I like the classic look, and I don't know. I guess Christopher Reeve always will be Superman to me in the movies.
Yeah, I totally agree.
But let's kind of go back and just before we actually talk about the Agents of Shield. Shield actually first appeared in television from the the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. I don't know if you ever watched that as a kid, but that came from the early '80s.
Love that. Absolutely loved it.
And in fact, Boys and Girls, it's on Netflix. So if you're on Netflix, you can stream it. And then, of course, there were in the '90s. I think was the big Marvel cartoon renewal. There was Iron Man, there was the Hulk, and of course, Shield made an appearance in all those, especially the Spider-Man the animated series. And what's neat today, that for those of you that have the Disney XD, the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon. I can't stress how awesome this cartoon is, and unfortunately, I'm amongst the minority because a lot of fanboys and fangirls absolutely hate this. But my daughter and I guess my daughter and I like it because we watch it together. But Phil Coulson is also in that, and especially Greg Clark, the actor who plays him, which a lot of people are asking, well, why is Phil Coulson in this TV series? Well, just hang on, boys and girls. I'm going to come back to that in a little bit. So of course, S.H.I.E.L.D. makes the presence. Probably the worst showing of S.H.I.E.L.D. ever was from a 1998 made-for-TV movie with the Hoff himself, David Hasselhoff, as
I
Nick
remember
Fury.
that. I remember that. Oh,
Nick Fury, agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
that was painful.
And it was funny because during this time, Marvel had a lot of crappy movies out.
Yeah.
And not only that, they had a crappy Captain America movie out that didn't even make the film. The only place you could see this is by if you go to a comic book convention, you go to the bootleg sections and grab a copy, a VHS copy.
Nice.
But I have just been told that Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., starring David Hasselhoff, is available on DVD. So again,
Ooh.
use our Amazon link.
Yeah.
You'd appreciate it.
Yeah, we would. I can't imagine many people going to get that, but if you would like to, definitely use our Amazon affiliate link.
But if you want my honest opinion, they do have the Ultimates in issues 1 through 12 and one nice trade paperback. Again, you can get that at Amazon as well. And if I suggest any type of reading, read that because that'll be kind of pretty darn close to what Marvel has been doing in the movies with Marvel Studios the last 6-7 years.
Very
so good. Let's go ahead and look at, well, why did they do Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Well, it all deals with how successful that the Avengers was. They've been in talks for ages of doing a Marvel show, and now this is kind of, I don't want to say it, their excuse, but that's exactly what it is. And it stars Clark Gregg as Phil Coulson, Agent Coulson.
Yeah.
And now people are going to say, well, didn't he die in the Avengers movie?
Yes. Are we?
Well, yes and no.
Should we insert spoilers right here, just in case somebody is waiting for the series to have an idea of what happened?
Well, I think that would be a good idea because I don't know exactly how they're going to do it, but I have a sneaking suspicion I know how they're going to do it.
Oh, well, let's play this then.
Warning, incoming spoilers.
Okay, potential incoming spoiler. If you don't want to hear it, skip ahead. How long is it going to take you, Alex? Minute?
Oh, this will take me probably a minute tops.
60 seconds. You're on the clock now.
All right, boys and girls, as we all know, Phil Coulson character was killed off in Avengers. And so, according to the official Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. website, it's kind of mysterious how he's back. Well, folks, for those of you who have been reading these S.H.I.E.L.D. comics and Marvel comics for as long as I have, 40-some years now. Geez, I'm aging myself. But anyway, S.H.I.E.L.D., especially Nick Fury, has died many a time in the comic books. But he's been resurrected. How has he been resurrected? Well, his body didn't technically die because what was killed were his life body, his life decoys.
Awesome.
They have these artificial, they're called life model decoys. And basically what they are, they're android copies of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. And that's, I think, exactly what happened with Coulson because Nick Fury wanted these heroes to unite under something.
Yep.
And what better way than Phil Coulson's death? And
Yeah.
that's exactly what happened.
And you guys got him killed. You know what I mean? That whole
Yeah.
moral dilemma where they were like, oh, crap, we did. Okay, we got to make this right, you know?
And so
Good job.
it's my honest to God opinion that they're going to have it's going to be a life model decoy for sure.
Awesome. All right. End of spoiler.
All right, so you've
Cool.
been warned.
All right. So next up, Ming Na Wen. She's going to play Melinda May. So,
All right, Ming Na Wen, she's a really great actress, and her probably most famous role, very little may know this, but she was the voice actress of Disney's Mulan. Now, she wasn't the singing voice actress, she was just the regular voice actress, and she's been in many, many things since. Many guest
yeah,
appearances.
she was in Warehouse 13.
Warehouse 13. She
She's
was ER. She's been in ER.
She's been on ER.
And get this, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Street Fighter. How cool is
Oh,
that?
I forgot about that. She would hate to have us bring that up if we ever interviewed her. Probably.
But she's been in Sci-Fi's Eureka, Stargate.
Loved Eureka.
I remember her really well on Two and a Half Men. That's like the TV show nobody should watch because it's such garbage, but it's my guilty pleasure, I guess.
It's kind of like pro wrestling.
Kind of like pro wrestling.
Brett Dalton, can we switch to him?
Okay.
He's going to play Grant Ward. Now, he really didn't seem to have much of a background before this. You know, nothing that I really heard of, you know?
Right. Well, he got his looks like he got his master's from the Yale School of Drama in 2011. So, you know, he's basically new. Hasn't had a lot of experience in TV or movies. He played the part looks like he played the part of Lincoln's oldest son in Killing Lincoln, which is if it hasn't been out yet, it will be out soon. It's a TV movie.
Oh, okay.
And so yeah, he's a relative newcomer.
Okay. Because I was a little curious who he's going to be, because it seems like he's going to have a big part of this show.
Right. It seems like the general premise for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Notice how they call it Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. now, because the original title was just S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
Well, there are some characters they're not going to have on, such as Nick Fury. Maybe you'll see there'll be references to Nick Fury. Agent Maria Hill, played by Colby Smulders. Is that how you say her last name? But she plays on one of my favorite TV shows, How I Met Your Mother.
Would they just let that cat out of the bag and finally tell us how
Well, they're coming into the final season, which has lead me to believe if the 13 episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., if it does really well, then we're going to see her as a cast member, hopefully.
That'd be cool.
So I know Colby has been in talks with the studio with playing a part, but I'm pretty sure that her How I Met Your Mother final episode shootings may have interfered with that. But now since that is not going to be an issue come next year, hopefully we'll see the character of Maria Hill in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
Some of the other, let's see, we had Brett Dalton.
Yep, we just talked about him.
We just talked about him.
And Chloe Bennet.
Chloe Bennet. Okay.
She's gonna play Sky.
And it looks like that part is like a computer hacker. And let's see, what can I tell you about Chloe Bennet other than she is a big time fangirl, so that's gonna be really cool. Yeah, she had a recurring role on Nashville, and so again, that's probably the something she had in common with Ming Na Wen. who played in one episode of Nashville, but Chloe was a regular. I'm not sure what character she played on there. It was Haley. I'm not sure what. I've probably watched like one or two episodes of Nashville,
Yeah, I've never watched that show, to be honest.
so it's got a pretty good following. And then we have is it Ian or Ian?
Ian, I think it's
Jay
yeah,
Kostecker.
that's a interesting name he's got there.
Now supposedly he's I think he's from Scotland. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
he's from Scotland.
Who's he playing?
He is playing the part of Agent Leo Fitz.
Okay. All right.
So I'm sure he's going to have the accent and everything,
Oh
which is
yes.
going to be great. But he's a child actor.
Really?
And he played the part of Nigel in The Little Vampire. Do you remember that
No, I don't.
movie? That's from like 13 years ago.
Don't remember that.
And so since then, though, he's been on anything on BBC, Coronation Street, which is was pretty popular. I don't know if it's still going on or not. And let's see, he was in 2011, 6 episodes of The Fades. So a lot of the things he's been doing has been overseas in BBC world, known as Great Britain. And so he's just kind of basically freshly new to all of us. Other than those fans, if you grew up with The Little Vampire, then aw. But so yeah, he's a relative newcomer to the U.S. And then let's see who else we have. Elizabeth Henstridge, and she is definitely new. She's gonna be playing Agent Gemma Simmons, and it looks like she's gonna specialize in some type of biology.
Oh, cool.
And so again, she's a newbie too. And so it's kind of cool because if you look at any pictures or anything of these people as the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they don't have the jumpsuits or anything that S.H.I.E.L.D. agents in the comic books are famous for. And if anything, it kind of reminds me of a group from the X-Files.
Oh, cool. I think it's a good thing that they're not going to go with the jumpsuit costumes and all that kind of stuff. I think it's
because
kind of more believable to just be in suits and leather jackets and stuff like that. I think it's just more believable.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. It is more believable because if they would have wore those jumpsuits and stuff, it kind of look hokey, I think.
I think it would be really tacky, because there's supposed to be a logistical division, right? They're supposed to be doing a lot of observing, reporting, and investigations and stuff.
And so, that's what it kind of sounds like. What they're going to be doing, they're going to be investigating various superhumans,
which is, that's the whole premise of this show, which is going to make it really cool for all us sci-fi fans,
So one thing, though, that I'm kind of curious, there was a rival organization called Hydra.
Okay.
And I think didn't we even have Hydra in Captain America?
Yes. I was just going to say, we've already seen them, if you've seen Captain America, we've seen their organization.
Right. So that in the comics, that's kind of like the rival organization, Hydra, the terrorist
they had
organization.
To me, they had a real Cobra feel to them in the movie. Just like G.I. Joe's Cobra.
Well, that's not by accident.
I didn't think so, because it just seemed like it really had that feel with the outfits and the...
No, because, Cobra, I hate to say it, but Cobra copied from Marvel when it came to this.
Oh, I believe that.
Hydra was around long before G.I. Joe's Cobra was even thought of. So, and again, a snake-like organization. So, no pun intended.
All right. So, who's up next?
All right. Cast? One thing we have. Let's see. Who haven't we gotten
Shannon,
yet?
what's her name?
Shannon Lucio, I think is how you
Lucio?
pronounce her name, and she's another newcomer. Well, she's in her early 30s, but hasn't really been in a lot. She's been in a couple B movies, Spring Break, Shark Attack. Woo. Um, but I have seen she was in a movie called Feast of Love in 2007. That was a major release. She's appeared in Once Upon a Time as the seer, and it looks like she was only in one episode with that. She played a part in a guest starring role in Castle. Nothing really too predominant. Chicago Code looked like she was a regular. The Gates, which was a TV, I don't remember that. She was in an episode of True Blood.
Oh, okay.
Grey's Anatomy, Prison Break, but nothing that was too regular. She was in a couple. She was in that movie, like I said, Feast of Love. She played the part of Janie, and that was a Morgan Freeman, Greg Kinnear film. So she probably played like a Dodge, a very young character. And let's see, I don't think I have anything else on her either.
Now, this is the one I really want to talk about, the next one that's coming up. J. August Richards, because it seems like they're really hyping his character to be a mutant type of character.
Well, as we know, Josh Whedon is the one that is creating the show, he and his brother. And so what Josh Whedon show wouldn't be without one of his former collaborators or people who starred in his previous series. And of course, we have one, Mr. J. August Richards. And so J. August Richards, they are hushing up on what his role is. The only thing I do know, I'm pretty sure it's an established Marvel character because he has been quoted as saying, "I've been born to play this character."
And I tried to engage him on Twitter, and he will not say a word about anything. And
And that's on purpose too.
we've been getting a brush off from him lately. So hopefully that changes after Comic-Con.
Okay, and that's exactly why. Comic-Con's coming up. So more information is going to be revealed, and you're probably wondering, all right, Cruz, when's Comic-Con? Well, in about 2 weeks, Comic-Con is going to be, it's called Comic-Con International. It's in San Diego. I don't like the international name.
No, that's kind of
anyway,
tacky, but whatever.
and so Comic-Con International is coming up in a few weeks, and they Friday's schedule they have already given, and in fact I'm looking at it's going to 2 weeks, the 18th, 19th, and 20th, and 21st is going to be Comic-Con. And so everyone's going to probably be like I am, just glued to the internet to find out what's all the news all the studios are bringing out. And Friday, we're going to find out about Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And they're going to have a presentation at 1:45 on July the 19th.
Awesome. So we'll have to fire up the microphones right after that happens.
Right. Be 1:45 to 3 p.m. California time, which will probably be about 6 o'clock Eastern time. And then everybody else hopefully can do the math after that.
Nice.
And so, yeah, it'll give us some more information about what to expect. And this is where I think it's going to be revealed what J. August Richards' character is.
Okay, cool.
And so, S.H.I.E.L.D. agents in the actual Marvel universe that have already made appearances is Jasper Stillwell. And Jasper Stillwell in the comic book was this I want to call him a Ken doll because blonde hair, blue eyes, perfect. And then he was played excellently, I may add, by a Latino. And let's see. So I'm looking through right now. Well, of course, he's not where I want to. Oh, I can't get to him right now.
Okay, no big deal.
There we go. So, of course, not where I want to. Former agents. Okay. Well, I guess not. Sorry, guys.
We thought we had a bite, but not quite.
No, it should be on here. Oh, there we go. Jasper Stillwell. Sorry. Espionage agent. And he kind of took the place of Coulson when Coulson, quote unquote, died. And he first appeared, we've seen him in Thor, and his name is Maximiliano Hernandez. And then he reprised his role in a Marvel one-shot called The Consultant and Item 47. So I just saw Item 47 today, and it's hilarious.
Oh, really? Where'd you see it at?
It's on your Avengers DVD.
Okay.
And I guess I didn't give any of those a shot, so I watched the 3 that they have, and the first 2 are around really super short, right around 4 minutes long, but this one is right along 14 minutes long.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna see Sitwell again in the new Captain America movie coming out next year, and also too there is one short. I don't know if you remember Agent Carter from the first Captain America film, the British agent that helped Steve Rogers.
Yes.
And she is going to be the subject of the next short, the 4th short that we'll be seeing in the Iron Man 3 DVD that I think is going to be released late August.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good.
So again, they're not going to be using Maria Hill, which Maria Hill in the comic books is generally a newer character. She's been around for about maybe 10 years or so. Where Jasper Stillwell, he's been there from the beginning. And there's also another agent that's been kind of popular by the name of Clay Quartermain. Maybe he will be making his debut as well in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And, of course, we cannot forget Nick Fury's pal, Dum Dum Dugan. With a name like that, you can't go wrong.
No, you cannot. That is awesome.
And he always wore this bowler hat.
Yep.
And always chomping on a cigar, and kind of he's a very colorful character. And if they had him on there, I think that would be really cool.
I think it'd be awesome. So who knows? Maybe they'll add him in at some point, or
they just may.
Well, Alex, anything else, or you want to leave it right there?
So they're gonna the show is gonna premiere September? Did you say?
Yeah, I think it's September 3rd.
September 3rd. Okay, great. And I think the time slot's going to be 8 to 9.
Oh, yeah. That's prime time. That's perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect. Now, my wife was asking the other day, and she says, is this going to be like a kid-friendly show? Well, generally 8 to 9 is,
yeah,
but...
usually. And Alex, for people that don't know us from other TV show fan podcasts, this will be the first show we've ever done that didn't start at 10 p.m., I believe.
Wow.
So I think this will be the first show that we've done that didn't start at 10.
I am officially out of my comfort zone.
Because we're used to going, you know what? I got to get to bed. I got to watch it tomorrow. With this one, hey, we could watch this live. This might be good.
But yeah, I like it because, like we discussed earlier, they're getting out. It's like I said, it's a superhuman X-Files.
Yes. And that's big. I mean, there's a big market right now for this conspiracy and and you know, the superhero stuff. There's a huge market right now.
Sure. And I think I said 13 episode it's going to run. So I think that's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alex, for all the information you shared with
Hey,
us.
no problem. Hopefully I didn't bore everybody to death with all the comic geek jargon and stuff.
But hey, that's where it comes from. So I knew it was important for us to, you know, have a show, and this is your strong suit. So I'll let you take the lead on this one. But when the series starts, you know who's going to be chiming in all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be chiming in constantly. But thank you so much, and thank all of you for either listening to us via iTunes, Stitcher, Zune, TuneIn Radio, or on the website tpenetwork.com, or watching us via YouTube. So we try to make it really easy for you guys to check us out. So for Alex Cruz, I'm Hank Davis. Until next time, my friends, we're signing off.
See ya.